Hello everyone, this is Dr. Hope with Mercy Grace Medical Aesthetics, and I am so happy and honored to be introducing to you our Why Wednesdays. Now, this is where we're going to be bringing out weekly videos that will help with information and education, hopefully, about things that are necessary for us to maintain our healthy lifestyle and to just be more aware of what we're doing or what's out there, so we can pay attention to what we put in our bodies or what we put on our skin. So you will hear about things that have to do with weight loss. You will hear about things that have to do with exercise. You hear about things that have to do with ingredients in our food. You hear about things that have to do with ingredients in skincare. You'll hear about things that have to do with aesthetic services, for example. So it's just some more information and education so that you can be a pro. Okay, maybe not a pro, but so you can be more informed about medical aesthetics as well as wellness for you as a whole, because you matter, right? So you need to know. You deserve to know is what I mean. So we're going to be kicking it off today, and we're going to talk about dietary fats. Dietary fats. So the main issue with dietary fats is the concern about how it either promotes heart disease or protects against heart disease. There's four main types of dietary fats in our food. The first one I will talk about is saturated fats. Saturated fats are typically solid at room temperature. We found out that higher intakes of sources of saturated fats like processed meats or dairy, or even plant sources of saturated fats, we found that higher intake of those types of foods have been consistently linked to higher cardiovascular risk. Also, higher intakes of processed meat and, to a lesser extent, unprocessed meats have also been linked to a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. The next one is trans fats. So low levels of trans fats occur naturally in some foods like dairy, or in meats from ruminants like cows, sheep, and goats. However, much higher levels of consumption of trans fats occurs secondary to industrial processes that add hydrogen to the liquid oils to make it more solid. And that's what we call partial hydrogenation of vegetable oils. So these artificial trans fats have been known to confer harmful cardiovascular effects. In the US, actually, the Food and Drugs Administration, that's the FDA, they've actually determined that partially hydrogenated fatty oils, vegetable oils, are no longer GRAS. That means generally regarded as safe. So they're no longer generally regarded as safe. And so that has taken a lot of the harmful trans fats out of circulation. The other fats we're going to talk about are monounsaturated fatty acids. Now, these ones are typically liquid at room temperature, but then they can start to turn solid when they're chilled. And studies have shown that when you replace saturated fats that I mentioned earlier, when you replace them with monounsaturated fatty acids, you actually reduce your bad cholesterol levels, otherwise known as the LDL, as well as your triglyceride levels. And it helps you maintain your good cholesterol levels, which are the HDL cholesterol. Now, where can you find sources of monounsaturated fatty acids? You can find in plant sources of oils like canola oil or olive oil or tree nuts or avocados. Now, the last form of dietary fat we're going to talk about will be the polyunsaturated fatty acids. So these are like the monounsaturated. These are typically liquid at room temperature, but they can actually start to turn solid when they're chilled. The main difference between monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids is that the polyunsaturated fatty acids are essential, meaning you have to get them from your diet. You cannot make them in your body. But we found with randomized controlled feeding studies that plant sources of polyunsaturated fatty acids help with improving your lipid level, your blood sugar level, as well as reducing fatty liver. So those are all good things. Okay. So in a nutshell, here are some tips for you to know how to factor in healthy fats into your diet. If you do require a specific diet because of a specific condition, I beg of you, go to your doctor for recommendations. Speak to your healthcare provider for recommendations. Otherwise, what we found is that the type of fat is actually more important than the total number of calories from fats. So what does that mean? Limit processed foods. So that way you avoid the harmful fats, like the saturated fats that have been shown to have, higher risk of cardiovascular disease or heart disease. Limit your intake of trans fats, because you can still get trans fats if you have commercially baked goods or in deep fried fast foods or stick margarine. I know people are throwing stones at me. Just don't shoot the messenger, okay? So that's another way you can also, eat healthier fats. And you want to now eat foods that are rich in healthy fats, like fish. If you don't like fish, I'm so sorry. Fish, avocados, nuts. Those are good sources of healthy fats. And if you need fats for cooking or for like dressings, you want to use the healthier plant oils like olive oils or canola oils. You can use olive oil for your dressing, for example, for your salads. One important thing to note is be aware of processed or packaged foods that are labeled as low fat or fat-free, because sometimes they may have refined sugars or added sugars in them. So you want to be careful with those because those have been shown to confer a higher risk of diabetes and obesity, and it will also increase your triglyceride levels. It will lower your good cholesterol levels, so you want to limit those as well. So in a nutshell, this is Dietary Fats. If you would like more detailed information, click the link below. It will take you to our blog where you have more details about what I just talked about. And until next time on our Why Wednesdays, remember, you matter.
Storybox Audio.